Thundersport GB at Snetterton. It's Superstock 600 times. Steve's on the grid.
So the BSN Superstock 600s roll onto the grid, and guess what? Yep, it started raining again. All of the riders currently on their normal standard tyres, but well, race director Dave Stewart now making his way onto circuit. It should be an interesting Robin. So for now, I'll pass back over to you.
Thanks very much, Steve. Yes, once again, this weekend being not so much blighted by the weather, but it's certainly being affected by the weather. You cannot, from seemingly one moment to the next, predict what it's going to do, and it could well change before the end of this as our Bike Sport News Superstock 600s get on their way. And well, I say the usual suspects up the front composed certainly the top 10, any one of them capable of winning this, but it's another good start from the young Scot Paul Wishart, and going with him that bright yellow Yamaha Cool Cow sponsored Tommy Mountain, and Tommy just comes around Palmer there and down into Agostini already, albeit a slight, but he's already in the lead.
Yes, there's Paul Wishart then moving up into second ahead of Nick Anderson. Nathan Pallett, a great start just ahead of Shellcock and Rory Parker, but the rain looks like it's closing in. I just saw a shot there over by Ritchie's. Well, you can see for yourself, it's not looking brilliant. And the only rider out there in this wet race to have chosen the wet tyres is the man at the back of the pack at the moment, Matthew Parker, complete novice. He's the only rider that's decided to go for the full wet, so I'd imagine sometime around about now, he'll be looking for it to rain.
Well, good luck to Matthew. I tell you what, it's been a good weekend for him. It's his first ever race weekend, and he comes from Ipswich, so not very far down the road from here. And a brave choice. We'll see whether it pays off. Now then, up the front, Tommy Mountain from Paul Wishart. That's their duel from the earlier race. But look at Nathan Pallett there in fourth. There he is. Number 2, just harassing Nick Anderson, the championship points leader coming into this weekend. What good drive Nathan Pallett gets as he comes up the centre straight that time, Steve. Yeah, looking very good is Nathan in these dry conditions, but Nick Anderson has got back past, and oh, Nathan Pallett around the outside. Unbelievable there. And is back up into third position. That's really brave stuff into Ritchie's. A very quick right-hander. Tom Meehan, well, maybe he's feeling the effects of the injury from Friday. He's just a little bit further back this time around, but it's still Mountain that leads from Paul Wishart. Yeah, it's a good second place with Tom Meehan earlier, but look at Sean Brown. Sean just moving up a place there, just behind Rory Parker. Rory from the Isle of Man, and Rory looking particularly impressive, I have to say, in the lousy conditions. So once again, as that weather sweeps across, and Steve, cameras always lie to a certain extent, don't they? When the weather is bad and the gloom descends, there is a certain brightness they pick up, and I can assure you that the conditions for the riders are not nearly as good as those that appear on our screens. No, and the other situation is, because this race has been declared a wet race, if it was to rain, then it's tough. If you're out there on the dry tyres, that's your choice, and it will certainly push the brave and the smooth riders up to the front of the field. So at the moment it is dry, and Paul Wishart is trying as much as he can to hang on to race leader Tommy Mountain. He did the same in race 1, but unfortunately outbraked himself into Agostini's and got on the power a bit early here and there. Can he hold on to him this time? Well, he's certainly in the wheel tracks, hunched over into Ritchie's there, but young Tommy Mountain, he has been very, very impressive. Leads well. And there we see Sean Gilfillan on the Suzuki. Yeah, he's just behind Cooper and Jody Chalk on circuit at the moment. Well, I can tell you one thing, Matthew Parker, who chose the wet tyres, they will be getting chomped away at the moment, and I fear that it's probably a little bit too late now. Even if it was to start raining, he'd certainly make up time, but those wet tyres, they're brand new at the start of this race. They're certainly going to look pretty second-hand now. Well, that is pouring rain over the back of those trees there, but up the front it's closing up because Nathan Pallett is on a real charge in third place. There we see Tommy Mountain from Paul Wishart. Look at Nathan Pallett, closed right in. He set the fastest lap of the race so far. So at the moment it looks like these two at the front, yes, could very soon be 3 as Pallett gets in touch, and Sean Brown chasing hard and going with him.
Yeah, so it looks like the circuit over by Montreal is probably going to be one of the first bits of the circuit to see the rain if it comes down. This section certainly looks dry. Paul Wishart here closing in on Mountain, and as you said, Nathan Pallett really is looking for that first Superstock 600 win with Thundersport.
He's on a bit of a steam there, and there's Paul Wishart keeping it off the curbs on the Exeter Murrays. Tommy Mountain almost flirting dangerously with the curbs there, but there they are, across the start-finish line, the 1, 2, 3, 4, and Pallett has a real bead drawn on Paul Wishart, and look at him. We've seen him go around the outside at Richie's earlier on.
It's raining now, Robin. You can see the wet marks on the tyres. Paul Wishart just put an arm up there. That's not going to stop the race. There's Sam Ludgate. Look at they're going so much slower into turn one. You can see the rain coming down horizontally. Unbelievable stuff out there, and they're going to have to just deal with it. Now the Brave are going to come out. Well, you're not going to get away with that, unfortunately. The tyre choice was yours. Look at the state of the circuit, drenched already.
That is absolutely drowning down now. Tommy Mountain still leads it. He's there. Paul Wishart now. I saw going through, but considerably slower. There we see Sean Brown. Now, the thing is, Steve, as you say, they've made their bed, they're going to lie in it, they've done their tyre choice, and Matthew Parker at the very back of the grid, his first ever race weekend, will be feeling very proud with his tyre decision.
Yeah, well, his tyres will now cool down and come into their own, although he is quite a way back, but he could make up 1 or 2 positions. Nathan Pallett has, fallen like a sack of spuds down through the field because he's obviously not quite comfortable with these conditions. There's Sean Brown, and there's Nick Anderson, championship leader, obviously feeling a little bit more confident. He's certainly carrying more speed. But Tommy Mountain out front, well, as an ex-Super Team rider that's used to riding in wet conditions on road legal tyres, here he is looking every bit a champion.
Yeah, and his dad, Richard, will be on the pit wall somewhere, Dick Mountain, and he will be biting his fingernails down to the quick watching this. One more lap then to go for Tommy to stay on board. Gosh, these conditions do change so quickly. At one moment, look at that, we've even got a bit of blue sky in the background, and there's puddles on the track, and then there's bits already drying. There's Sean Brown in third, behind Nick Anderson and Tommy Mountain.
Yeah, but just behind him, Robin, Rory Parker and Paul Wishart. Here you can see them both. They're lapping considerably quicker than Sean Brown. And on this last lap, if they're not too careful, they may just catch him. There's Dan Chappell, Tom Meehan a little bit further down, and Andrew Dudgeon.
Yep, another from the Isle of Man, of course. But interesting to see Matt Shelcock there behind Sean Brown and Paul Wishart. He too is getting a bit of a pedal on over this last lap. Well, it's a long lap, the New Snetterton, just fractionally under 3 miles. Plenty of opportunity for change, but I can't see any change happening at the front as Cool Cow sponsored Yamaha of Tommy Mountain makes his way around Coram for the last time.
Yeah, this is really good for Tommy Mountain's championship. He's going to move up to third overall, close in on Paul Wishart. Nick Anderson, meanwhile, in second position, will be over the moon to pick up 20 points in conditions like these. That really does give him a nice firm grip on the championship, but a fabulous race win for Tommy Mountain.
Yep, well, they've all got to stay on as well to the end to score the points. There's the checkered flag, and Tommy does the double. Excellent stuff there from the young Lincolnshire rider. Yes, and he knows it too. That is huge points for Tommy. He takes the win from Nick Anderson. Rory Parker in the end getting up to finish third ahead of Sean Brown. Paul Wishart came in fifth, and Matt Shelcock was sixth. Tommy Mountain, Nick Anderson and Rory Parker on the podium. And look at the championship standings. Well, Nick Anderson just has the lead from Paul Wishart, but Tommy Mountain closes in. Tom Meehan fourth, Adam Robertson fifth, Sam Luggett sixth.